Already a record setter, we returned this month to one of the highest peaks in the Smokies to mark lifetime summit number 600 for an 81-year-old veteran. 600 summits after taking his first hike just a dozen years ago in the Smokies. Yes, lean into this one. Larry Legend is what we like to call an inspiration.
One more than $5.99.
Larry Russell has nothing to prove on this hike.
I don't know if it's any different, but the number is different. If I make it today, it'll be number 600.
At age 81, he's already a legend on one of the most famous trails in the Great Smoky Mountains.
It's great. I'm thankful to be able to do a 600 hike with him. It's an honor.
But alongside his son, this scramble up Mount Le Conte elevates the meaning of lifetime summit number 600.
Trying to shoot for my goal, I was doing it 3 to 4 times a week.
A little more than a year ago, at the age of 80, Larry Russell set out to hike Mount Le Conte 80 times in 1 year. The signature peak in the Great Smoky Mountains National Park towers almost 6,600 feet. The round trip is 11 miles. Elevation gain is a steady hump at more than 2,700 feet.
I decided to try to hike my age. I got to 80 in September and decided, well, may as well go for 100.
Larry reached the age record 80 round trips by September, then hit 117 for the year, averaging close to 2 summits twice a week for a full year.
Before it's known, there's only 4 people that did 100 in a year.
But one of 4 who've done 100 times in 1 year.
Correct. And the oldest.
And the oldest.
When I did my 100th hike, my son went with me on that, so that was pretty neat. Yeah. I know I'm the oldest person to ever hike their age.
How does that feel to say?
You know, it's just
no big deal.
No big deal.
A military veteran, Larry joined during the war in Vietnam, served in Korea, and would go on to an almost 40-year career in law enforcement. And perhaps not surprisingly, at his department, helped usher in the first bicycle beat.
But I actually did my first hike when I moved up here in September of 2012 was my first hike.
After retiring a dozen years ago, Larry made it a mission to stay active, and his regular hiking partner Sandy says setting summit records is just so Larry.
So few people that can do what he's done. He's pretty amazing.
It takes the average hiker about 3 hours to reach the summit of Mount Le Conte here. Larry has done it in half that time, 1 hour and 37 minutes. But he'll tell you, that was 2 years ago when he was still young. Back atop Le Conte almost a year later, we didn't set any speed records at about 2 hours and 20 minutes, but we did take time to celebrate. Summit number 600 for Larry Legend.
I got down here and I got them behind it.
The moment captured by surprise chocolate cake, another classic photo, and shared by strangers, stunned by the feat.
My first hike was in 2012, so what is that? Almost 13.
What?
He's an inspiration for me to say, yes, I can do this no matter how old I am.
Can I ask how old you are?
I'm 81.
81? That's inspiring.
And familiar parting advice from Larry Legend dances across this iconic mountain peak he knows so well. If you've never been, go. Larry says one of his greatest compliments came from a fellow veteran he met on the trail. The hiker said he'd seen Larry on TV, and the story inspired him to get off the couch and take a walk in the woods. Larry says that's what it's all about.